Yo YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy SalvationsElite. We're back with another video, guys. And today, guys, we're talking about cameraing in Modern Warfare. It's back again. And I mean, we knew it was going to be here in some way or form. It's basically been in every single game. And for those of you who are new around here or new to competitive COD in general, cameraing is basically when they can see you but you can't see them. It happens in a lot of different ways. It can be based off the movement, it can be based off the first person camera angles, and it depends on the game, where some games it's worse than other games. And in Black Ops 4, it was known to be pretty bad, especially when you were slide canceling around corners and things like that. In Modern Warfare now, it really only comes into effect when you're near and far away from cover. And so I know what some of you guys are thinking. XclusiveNA already covered this today in his video, which I agree, he did. And I just want to talk about it more in a competitive aspect and in a competitive setting, and talk about how it can relate to search and destroy and things like that. So in his video, he just covered like the basics of the cameraing in one specific example. We're talking about more specifically in a competitive aspect and how it affects gameplay and how you approach certain gunfights. And then we're going to go through some examples on Piccadilly of how this actually ends up making an effect on the game. So obviously in every single game, because it's a first person shooter, there's a thing called shouldering or peeking. So there's a few different names for it. You can call it shouldering, you can call it wiggling, you can call it peeking, but more specifically, generally most pros would refer to it as shouldering or as wiggling. And so basically you go up to a corner where an enemy might be looking, and you basically just go back and forth really quick, showing your shoulder to the opponent to force them to shoot, give up their position, which allows you to know where they are. Cameraing is like, for example, when you can see them but they can't see you, and we're talking about like seeing their head when they can't see you. And that's actually a thing that happens in Modern Warfare. So as you guys are seeing here, you can see the dude's face on the bottom of the screen, but the guy can't see you at all. Like in this situation, you're standing on the side of the Jeep, and if you're on the bottom screen, you can see him, but he can't see you. If you can see, he's standing there around the corner and he has no idea where you are. And that's what cameraing is, where again, shouldering is expected. You can see part of their shoulder or their arm when they're standing behind a corner. But this is where you can literally see their face and they can't see you one bit. So obviously competitively, this has a lot of impact, especially in search and destroy, in games where you're using those corners and you're trying to get the angles, and every kill matters so much. And getting killed by cameraing is probably the most frustrating death there is in the game, because you literally didn't have a chance. You didn't have a chance to see him. And I know I've died to cameraing already a lot in this game so far. So one way to minimize this in Modern Warfare is if you're in the position where they can see you but you can't see them, there is a way to get around that, and that's by playing farther away from the cover. So if you're behind a wall like this, you can actually back up, and it minimizes the effect that the cameraing has. It just helps because overall, if you stand farther back, they can see less of your body before you can see them. It definitely does minimize the effects of the cameraing if you're able to stay back from the cover as much as possible. So overall, especially when playing search and destroy again, be very aware of that, where if you're trying to peek a corner, peek it a few feet back from the edge itself. Don't shift over directly next to the edge, because it puts you at a disadvantage while trying to peek those corners. I just went through a lot of different spots on Piccadilly and just tried to play through how this might look in different areas of the map in different situations. And there was two specific situations where it really stood out to me. One of them was when you're sitting in that bus cut overlooking towards window, and there's that comic book booth there. If you're sitting behind that comic book booth, like, this is where cameraing and body movement, and it's hard to tell sometimes how much of your body's actually exposed. And that with the stances that the character models take in this game, it's definitely tough to know how much of your back or your side is actually exposed to cover and how much isn't. So like you're seeing there, the cameraing is like really real right here, where I mean, if you're trying to peek out, you're gonna be completely screwed. If he's sitting on the other side of the buses there, you're done for. This dude's going to kill you 100% guaranteed every single time. And then you're going to be pissed because you didn't see him and he saw you, and it's just gonna go downhill real quick. So you have to be very aware of this, especially in situations like this, where those types of angles, where if you're planning on peeking that type of angle, a very 90-degree angle, then you have to be backed up behind that cover to really have a decent chance to pop them off of it. And like, the farther away you are from the cover, the more of a difference it makes. And then similarly, the farther away you are from the other person, the more difference it makes. Like in this situation where I'm sitting top window and there's a guy down in buses, it makes a pretty significant difference considering how hard it's going to be for me to hit him in the heady. Pretty easy it is for him if I'm sitting right next to that bus and then pop out for him to kill me. So you really should be in that situation on Piccadilly, backing up behind that bus to then peek top window. So this was a little bit shorter video, but I highly recommend, again, that you guys go watch Exclusive Ace's video if you haven't. He does a good job of breaking it down, and he was the first one to talk about it. So I got a little bit behind on that one. He beat me to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if you guys really enjoy it. I appreciate you guys checking it out. I hope you guys learned something and can implement it to fry in the game as well. So if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe as always. And I really appreciate your guys' support as always as well. So again, as always, I'm your boy SalvationsElite, and we'll see you next time. I'm out.